You spent years learning English, reading textbooks, memorizing vocabulary, passing exams, but when it's in time to speak, your mind goes blank, you freeze, you know the words, but they want to come out. You understand what people say, but you can't reply the way you want. And in those moments, you wonder, what's wrong with me? Why can't I speak fluently, even after all this time? Let me tell you something important. There ain't nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not bad at languages. You have just been taught the wrong way. And today we are going to change that. Welcome to Focus English Audio. I'm John. And in this episode, I'm going to guide you through something that could truly change the way you speak English forever. No more hesitation, no more fear, no more feeling stuck in silence while the world keeps talking. We are going to talk about fluency, not just the ability to speak, but the freedom to express yourself, to think in English, to feel like English is a part of you. This isn't about perfection. It's about confidence. It's about connection. And most of all, it's about becoming the version of yourself that speaks clearly, freely, and naturally in English. So let's just start by redefining what fluency really is. Most people think fluency means speaking fast or never making mistakes, but that's not true. Fluency is the ability to speak smoothly and comfortably. It means you can express your thoughts without constantly stopping or searching for words. It means you can listen, understand, respond, and enjoy the flow of conversation. You don't need to sound like a native speaker to be fluent. You don't need perfect grammar or a huge vocabulary. What you need is flow, what you need is confidence, and what you need is practice, the right kind of practice. You see, traditional English education focuses too much on theory. You learn grammar rules, take tests, and memorize lists, but you don't learn how to actually speak. That's why so many learners feel stuck. They know English on paper, but not in real life. I've met people who passed advanced English exams but couldn't hold a 5-minute conversation. And I've met others with basic vocabulary who speak comfortably and naturally. What is the difference? The way they practice. Fluency doesn't come from studying harder. It comes from training your brain and your mouth to work together. It comes from building habits that turn English into something you live, not something you study. And in this series, that's exactly what I will help you do. We will go step by step, but starting with listening, then speaking, then thinking in English, building vocabulary that actually sticks, and learning how to stay motivated every day. We also talk about the most common mistakes learners make and how to fix them. And we do it all in a way that feels natural, supportive, and even fun. No pressure, no tests, just real English, real strategies, and real growth. I know you've probably felt discouraged at times. Maybe you tried and failed. Maybe you felt embarrassed or ashamed. Maybe you told yourself, "Bah, I will never be fluent." But I'm here to tell you, you can. I've seen it happen. I've seen people go from silence to confidence, from confusion to connection. And it starts with one simple thing: belief. Belief in the process, belief in your progress, and belief in yourself. So before we dive into the steps, take a moment and remember why you started. Maybe it's for your career, maybe it's to travel, to study abroad, to meet people from around the world. Maybe it's just to prove to yourself that you can. Whatever your reason, hold it close, let it guide you. Because this journey isn't just about learning English. It's about unlocking your voice, it's about becoming free, and it starts right now. Fluency, my friend, is not a destination, it's a journey. And now that you've both taken the first steps, it's time to keep moving forward with clarity and purpose. So let's talk about what you can actually do starting today, to speak English more fluently. These are not theories or magic tricks. They are clear, proven steps that you can follow. And each one will take you closer to the moment when English flows from your mouth without fear, without hesitation, and without overthinking. Step 1. Listen. Listen more than you think you should. This may sound simple, even boring, but it's in the foundation of everything. Think about how a baby learns. First, they listen, not for a week, not for a month, but for years. They hear the same phrases over and over again. You want this? Oh, but come here. Oh, but good job. And only after all that input, they speak. You need the same process. You don't have to live in an English-speaking country to do this. You have the internet. You have Top, YouTube, audiobook, interviews, movies. Listen to voices that you enjoy. Listen to content. That makes you curious. Don't just listen once and forget it. Listen again and again until the rhythm, the phrases, the sentence patterns feel familiar. Let them sink into your subconscious. And herein the key, don't to try to understand every single word. That will slow you down. Instead, focus on understanding the general message. Your brain is smarter than you think. It will begin to fill in the blanks naturally. The more you listen, the more you absorb the flow of the language, the sounds, the stress, the music of English. Now, herein. Step 2. Speak every day. Yes, every. I don't care if you are alone in your room or walking your dog. Open your mouth and speak. The biggest mistake learners make is waiting too long to speak. They wait until they button ready, but guess what? That day never comes. You don't to become fluent and then speak. You speak and then become fluent. And you don't need a teacher, a native speaker, or even a partner to get started. You can talk to yourself, describe what you doing, say your thoughts out loud, read something and repeat it from memory, record yourself, play it back, notice how you sound, then do it again, but better. It may feel weird at first, but it works. Speaking is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Don't aim for perfection. Just speak. Make mistakes. Speak again. Every day, even for 5 minutes. Consistency is your best friend. Step 3. Learn phrases, not just words. You don't need to memorize the entire dictionary. You don't need to know thousands of words to speak fluently. What you need is chunks of language that people actually use. Instead of learning difficult to learn. But that was a difficult decision to make. Instead of learning, recommend the learn, but I do recommend trying this one. Full sentences. Natural. These are the tools of fluent speakers. Start writing down the phrases you hear often. Keep a notebook or a digital list. Review them. Say them aloud. Use them in your own sentences. Because when it's in time to speak, you want to have to build each sentence from scratch. You will already have blocks ready to go, and that's in what fluency feels like. Being able to pull words and phrases from your brain without panic. The next step, and it's in a big one, is to stop translating. I know this is hard. Your brain wants to go from your language to English, but that creates a delay. It's like trying to run while carrying a backpack full of bricks. You would always be one step behind. You need to train your brain to think in English. Start small. Say, I'm hungry, instead of thinking it in Vietnam first. Label items in your home. Think about your to-do list in English. Write your grocery list in English. This rewires your brain. Slowly, English becomes your first response, not your second. And herein, what happens when you stop translating? You stop hesitating. Your sentences become quicker. Your confidence grows. Your fluency increases. And finally, step 5, make English part of your life. Don't you let it stay in the classroom. Bring it into your world. Watch a show you love in English. Listen to music, not just for entertainment, but to study the lyrics. Join an online group, a community, a Discord server, or somewhere you can interact in English. Don't they make English a subject? Something you live with every day. The more you surround yourself with it, the less effort it takes to grow. That yan the beauty of immersion. And you don't have to move to another country to create it. You just have to choose it daily. Because fluency doesn't come from one giant action. It comes from small repeated steps, the ones you take every single day. And the good news is, you are already on that path. You being started. You've committed. You are here, learning, rowing, pushing forward. And I'm here with you every step of the way. So keep listening. Keep speaking. Keep showing up. Because fluency is not far away. It's in just ahead, waiting for you to keep going. Even when you practice every day, watch videos, listen to English, and try to speak more, something still feels off. You will putting in the effort, but fluency isn't coming as fast as you hoped. So what's happening? Why does progress feel so slow even though you're trying your best? The truth is, it's not always about how much you do. Sometimes it's about what you are doing wrong, without even realizing it. Because there are silent mistakes that many English learners make, and these habits can quietly block your fluency even when your motivation is high. Let's shine a light on them so you can finally move forward without invisible chains holding you back. The first mistake is trying to be perfect. You worry about every little grammar rule, every pronunciation detail, every word choice. But you hesitate, you overthink, you pause to correct yourself again and again. And what happens? The conversation dies. The connection is lost. Perfection is the enemy of fluency. Let that sink in. Fluency isn't about getting everything right. It's about keeping the conversation flowing. It's about being understood. So give yourself permission to make mistakes. Native speakers make them all the time. They forget words, repeat themselves, use bad grammar, and still communicate just fine. Your goal isn't to sound like a textbook. Your goal is to sound like a human. The second mistake is translating in your head. This is one of the biggest fluency killers. You hear a question in English, and instead of answering naturally, your brain does this. Okay, translate that into Viennese. Now, think of a reply. Now, translate it back into English. And by the time you're ready, the moment is gone. The conversation has moved on. You feel frustrated, embarrassed, stuck. The solution is simple. Start thinking in English. Not perfectly, not all at once, but little by little describe what you see around you. Say your thoughts in English. Use simple sentences like "Bo, it's being cold today," or "Bon, I'm tired." With time, your brain will stop translating and start reacting directly in English, and that when speaking becomes fast, easy, natural. The third mistake is memorizing words without using them. You write long vocabulary lists, you study 20 new words a day, but when someone asks you a question, your mind goes blank. That because words don't stick unless you connect them to real use. Learn fewer words, will use them more. Learn phrases, examples, full sentences. Say them out loud, write them in your journal, use them in real conversations, even with yourself. Turn those passive words into active tools. Fourth, many learners avoid speaking because they fear mistakes or judgment. You stay quiet in group classes. You avoid messaging others. You tell yourself, but I will speak when I'm more confident. But confidence doesn't come first. Speaking comes first. Confidence follows. Every time you speak, you build a little more courage, even if it's messy, even if it's slow, even if you make 10 mistakes in one sentence. You learn something, you grow, and you move forward. Lastly, many learners forget to listen actively. They think listening is passive. They just play something and hope it helps. But real listening takes focus. It ain't about noticing sounds, rhythm, intonation. It's about mimicking what you hear. Listening trains your ear and your mouth together. So don't do just born here and English, engage with it. Repeat what you hear, copy accents, pause, and speak along. This kind of listening creates real fluency, the kind that lasts. So now you know these hidden mistakes: perfectionism, translating, passive vocabulary, fear of speaking, and lazy listening can block your fluency. But the good news, you can fix them one by one, and from today, you will. Fluency is not something you visit once, it's in a place you live in, and to live there you need habits, solid, daily habits that make English part of who you are. These habits aren't about working harder, they're about working smarter, about showing up again and again, even when motivation is low. So let's build that foundation together. First, commit to daily practice. Not once a week, not only when you will feel like it, but every single day, even if it's in just 10 minutes. Why? Because your brain learns through repetition, through consistent signals that say, but this is important. The fluency isn't to built by cramming for hours on one day. It's built by touching English a little bit every day, like brushing your teeth. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to be present. Second, create your English environment. Surround yourself with the language. Set your phone, your laptop, your Netflix to English. Listen to Thope while cooking. Watch YouTube while eating. Read short articles or quotes before bed. Make English the background music of your life, because when your brain hears English daily, it becomes normal, familiar, comfortable. That's how it sticks. Third, speak regularly, and not just in formal settings. Speak to yourself, to your dog, to your mirror. Practice conversations in your head. React to TV shows out loud. Join a language exchange once a week. Speaking is not a test, it's a habit. So make it feel natural, not stressful. Fourth, track your progress. Keep a small journal of what you learned today, a new word, a sentence you said, a mistake you made and understood. Seeing your progress on paper reminds you moving forward. It also helps fight frustration and self-doubt, because when you see how far you become, you realize you're doing better than you think. Fifth, reward yourself. Learning a language is tough. Celebrate the small wins. Watch the video without subtitles. Rate spoke to a stranger in English. Amazing. Understood a podcast fully. That chain huge. Positive emotion fuel motivation. Let yourself feel proud. Let learning be joyful. That chain what keeps you going. These habits, daily practice, immersion, speaking, tracking, and reward. Yet not flashy. They're not dramatic, but they are powerful. They build momentum. And momentum is the real secret to fluency. Once you start moving, don't stop. Let your habits carry you. You will come a long way already. And now it's in time to talk about the most important part of this journey. Not grammar, not vocabulary, not listening or speaking, but belief in yourself. Because without it, nothing works, and with it, everything becomes possible. There will be days when English feels easy, when words flow, when you feel proud. But there will also be days when you struggle, when you forget simple words, when you feel embarrassed, when doubt creeps in and tells you, but maybe I would never get there. And in those moments, I want you to remember, this feeling is normal, a part of the process. Every learner feels it, even the fluent ones, even the native speakers. What makes the difference is this: they don't do stop. They keep showing up. They keep practicing. They keep believing. That then what makes them fluent. Not talent, but persistence. So when you feel stuck, pause, take a deep breath, look back at where you started, think of your first word, your first sentence, your first small victory, and remind yourself, you were not at the beginning anymore. You are on the road, moving forward. And even if it's slow, you'll still progress. Fluency is not a finish line. It's weed, in a way of life, a new part of who you are. And one day, sooner than you think, you would look back and smile. You will realize you're doing it. You are speaking English, not perfectly, not without mistakes, but naturally, confidently like yourself. That's the real goal. And you, my friend, are getting closer every single day. Keep going, keep learning, keep trusting. You got this, and I will be here with you every step of the way.